Did you really think it was going to get better? Welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. It's Monday, just after 11:30 here, August 19th, 2013. Raw tonight was in Anaheim, California. No, it didn't get any better. They kicked us in the nuts last night. And tonight, they continued kicking us while we were down. The show starts them showing some clips from SummerSlam last night, some of the stuff from Punk versus Lesnar, the match between Cena and Daniel Bryan, and then, of course, Randy coming out and Triple H pedigreeing Bryan and giving Randy the damn win. They show that. And then Cena's music hits, and out he comes. And he talks a lot. But he actually thanks Daniel Bryan for giving him a great match and putting up a great fight. And he actually puts Bryan over. And he says that he has to leave for a while to get surgery on his elbow. He brings up the elbow thing and he shows it again and again. This nasty, apparently it's filled with fluid from a tear, one of his muscles. He has to leave to get surgery and rehab the damn thing, and I'm sure he's got a lot of other little nagging injuries that he needs to take care of, so he has to leave for a while. But he wants to introduce Bryan, and he's continuing to put him over still. So he introduces Bryan, and Bryan comes out. And Cena leaves. Bryan's getting ready to talk, and Stephanie's music hits. And out she comes. And she starts talking, saying that, she's really sorry about what happened, but she's basically siding with Vince and Triple H in that, Bryan's not good enough. He's only a B+. I forget exactly what Bryan says, but he disses her hard. I don't remember what he said exactly. But they go back and forth with each other and whatever the hell. And Bryan ends up slapping the microphone out of her hand. She goes and get another one. And then she basically says, you know what? You're getting a little too angry. We need to have security come down. And so security comes down and escorts him out. And as they're taking him away, he's like, no! But they finally escort him out of the building, whatever the fuck. They cut to commercial. When they come back, Sandow and Rhodes are both in the ring already. So they both get jobber entranced. And they have a rematch, essentially, from last night. And the match was decent. There's a commercial in the middle of it somewhere. The crowd was trolling. I guess the match kind of dragged on a little too much, so the crowd was trolling. Cody wins with a sunset sort of roll up out of the corner. He gets the pin. They cut backstage to Maddox. And he says that because of something that Dolph Ziggler said, I believe it was a comment he made on Twitter, Ziggler didn't agree with what happened last night, Triple H screwing over Bryan and everything. But because of that, Ziggler has to take on the Shield 3-on-1. So yeah, that's going to happen later on. They cut to another commercial. They come back, and Heyman is in the ring. And he talks a lot. He's got his arm in a sling. And he wants Punk to come out, he wants Punk to forgive him. Making all these analogies, Punk being the prodigal son, and Big Brother Brock had to beat his ass last night to whatever the fuck. Whatever. They cut backstage, the Funkadactyls are there, getting ready for a match. The Bellas come up and talk, blah, don't fucking care. Apparently, they wish them luck in their match, which is coming up. Back out with the commentators. They say that Randy, our new WWE champion, is going to get a coronation ceremony later on tonight. They cut to commercial. When they come back, the Funkadactyls come out for their match, and then Layla comes out, followed by AJ. They both have separate entrances, but whatever. So it's going to be the Funkadactyls versus Layla and AJ. Before the bell can even ring, Layla and AJ jump the Funkadactyls and beat them up a little bit. Then the bell finally sounds and we get the match going. It sucks. You've got the Funkadactyls and Layla. AJ can't save this shit. The match was crap. Layla gets rolled up by one of the Funkadactyls, and that's it. So Layla ends up taking the fall. They cut backstage. Ziggler walking, coming out for his match. He looks surprisingly upbeat for the match that he has coming up. But then again, that is his personality. They cut to a commercial. When they come back, they recap Cena talking up Bryan earlier, the whole thing about him leaving, and they also show Daniel Bryan and Stephanie's whole thing, and him getting escorted out. They recap that whole segment. Then Ziggler comes out. He gets in the ring. The Shield comes out. It's a 3-on-1 handicap match. However, the Shield does have to tag. So, one little bit of fairness there. The match starts, and it's actually a good match. I mean, it's the Shield and Ziggler. They're all good. Okay? So, yeah. Only notable spots. Ziggler suplexes Rollins out of the freaking ring. Like, not from the apron or anything like that. No, Dolph is standing right next to the ropes, grabs Rollins, suplexes him over the ropes out of the frickin' ring, and it looked like Rollins might have hurt his leg on the landing because he goes down and he starts clutching it real bad. Ambrose had already been taken out, but Ziggler was still in there with Reigns. Reigns was in the corner, and Ziggler goes to give him that big corner splash. As he jumps in for it, Reigns explodes out and spears him out of midair, spears the fuck out of him, and gets the win. And after the match, the three Shield guys, they all get back in the ring, they pick Ziggler up, and they give him that big triple power bomb. So, yeah. They hype up Randy's coronation for later on, and they cut to commercial. When they come back, Del Rio comes out. And during his entrance, they show little snapshot pics of his match with Christian from SummerSlam last night. And then Sin Cara comes out. Yes, this match again. It sucked, by the way. The match, there wasn't even really much of a match. The match starts, and they tussle a little bit. Del Rio gets thrown to the outside. Sin Cara does a suicide dive and somehow hurts his hand. And he immediately calls the referee over and he says, I'm hurt, I'm hurt. I can even see the referee holding up the little X signal that they do to show somebody's actually injured. The match was pretty much over at that point. Del Rio kept trying to attack him, but the ref officially stopped the match and awarded it to Del Rio. They get Sin Cara out of there, and Del Rio talks. And he's saying how he's representing Mexico and the Latin people and all this dumb shit. Finally, after he gets done boring everybody to death, Ricardo comes out on the stage, and he's talking. And I'm like, okay, well, at least Ricardo's still there. He says that he's representing someone new. He also says that he's glad he doesn't have to represent Del Rio anymore, but he says he's representing someone new. And I'm thinking, okay, who are they going to debut here? And he says, Rob Van Dam. And I'm like, well, he's not new! RVD comes out, and him and Ricardo start going towards the ring, and Rob dives in, and he starts fighting with Del Rio. And they fight for a bit. Del Rio gets knocked down, and Rob goes up to the top for the 5-star, but Del Rio rolls out of the ring. He escapes. They say that coming up later, we're going to hear from CM Punk, and they cut to commercial. When they come back from commercial, the Real Americans are in the ring, Swagger and Cesaro and Coulter. And of course, Coulter has to run his fucking mouth. The same boring, racist bullshit. Nobody cares. And then the primetime players come out, who are all of a sudden face, I guess. Match. Tag team match. Real Americans versus the primetime players. This match sucked. Darren Young gets the win on Cesaro, I think. He hits his big double knee gut buster, which apparently is called the gut check. He hits that on Cesaro and he pins him and he gets the win. Whatever the fuck. Backstage, Renee Young is back there with the Big Show. She talks to him and she asks him, she says, you know, there's been rumors about you and Mark Henry teaming up to try and take on the Shield for the tag titles. Can you tell us about that? And Show says, it's true. We are going to do that. Before he can really continue much, Maddox comes up. Brad Maddox again. And he says that, you know, Big Show also made some disparaging comments about Triple H and what happened last night at SummerSlam. So, because of that, Show is going to be taking on the Shield again 3-on-1. However, this time, it's going to be Tornado Rules. I think there may have been a commercial here, I'm not sure, but either way, after that, what we wind up getting is they cut back into the locker room, and there's Zack Ryder and Justin Gabriel, and this dude with a Foot Locker striped zebra shirt on. They just do a big plug for Foot Locker. They're talking about these stupid shoes. And then Fandango comes up, and he's plugging the damn shoes, too. And, oh yeah, Summer's with him, of course. And the Foot Locker guy talks a bunch. I don't know what the fuck. It doesn't matter. I was watching this, and I'm like, what in the fuck? Anyways, they recap... Well, basically, they play the whole damn recap thing that they played from the beginning of the show. The whole thing of the Punk and Lesnar match from last night, Cena and Bryan, and Randy and Triple H screwing Bryan over, of course, and everything. And then they cut backstage to a locker room. There's a couple of guys that don't even know who the hell they are. And then Ryback comes up. Yes, this is going to be another one of him bullying somebody. He says, this is my locker room, get out. The other guys get up and go, except for this one guy. Ryback stops him. He says, sit down. What are you doing in my locker room? This is getting extremely old, extremely fast. Ryback sucks. And by all rights, at this point, somebody should really stand up to him. this dude that he was bullying looked more than capable of kicking Ryback's ass. So, but anyways, he has the guy pick up his bag and throw it off screen, and then he says, go pick it up. And they go over and they pick it up. They're in the frickin' shower room, and I'm thinking, oh god, this is getting weird really quick. Doesn't really go anywhere exactly weird, but they end up in the shower room. He has the dude open up his bag, turn on one of the showers, and fill the bag up with water, dousing his gear and everything and whatever the fuck. And then that's pretty much it. He tells the guy to leave. Again, why? Big Show comes out. He gets in the ring, and it's time for his match with The Shield. They cut to commercial. And when they come back, The Shield is already in the ring. We've got another match. And this one, again, is good. Big Show ends up spearing Reigns, and Reigns is wiped out for a while. He's on the outside of the ring, sucking wind. He's out. Rollins and Ambrose are trying their best to double team Show. It's not really working all that well, but they're able to kind of hold him at bay basically until Show knocks them both down, and then all of a sudden I see Reigns getting back in the ring, and he gets down and he's ready for it. Show turns around and Reigns spears the fuck out of him. And then Rollins and Ambrose get back up, and together they give Big Show the big triple power bomb. And all three get on top of him, and they cover him 1, 2, 3, and the Shield wins again. The announcers say that Punk is going to be up next. They cut to commercial. When they come back, Punk comes out. And he gets in the ring and he's talking. He starts talking, and some idiot fan in the crowd boos him. And Punk just lays into this guy. I don't know. He just verbally lays into this guy. It's great. He finally, back to what I was saying, he finally gets back and he says he wants Heyman to come out because he says if Heyman wants his apology, he's going to have to come out and get it face to face. Heyman comes out with Axel, and Punk says he's sorry. He's sorry that he didn't hurt Heyman more. He said he's sorry he didn't rip his arm off and take it home with him and all this other shit. Punk's still hurt. He was limping all the way down to the ring, and he says, you know what, I'm not cleared to wrestle. I'm hurt, I'm banged up from last night, but you know what, I'm still ready to go. If you want to fight, I'll fight you. And Heyman says that he's sorry for what's about to happen to Punk. And he tells Axel to go backstage and put tape his hands up. And so Axel leaves and he does that shit. And then Heyman keeps talking. Don't care. They cut to commercial. What Heyman says is, Punk, if you're still in that ring when we come back from commercial, it's going to be bad for you, whatever the fuck. They cut to commercial. They come back. Punk is still in the ring. He's sitting on a chair. He's sitting in the ring on one of the chairs. Axel and Heyman come back out, and Axel starts getting in the ring, and Punk goes right after him. He's attacking him, starts using the chair. They go back and forth. They wind up out on the outside of the ring. Axel gets backdropped into the timekeeper area, and then Punk goes after Heyman. Axel comes back to stop him, but gets taken out rather quickly. They work their way back over to the timekeeper area, and Punk grabs the ring bell and nails Axel in the guts with it. He goes for the GTS, I think in the ring, and Axel gets out of it and chop blocks Punk's leg out from under him. Axel works the leg for a bit. He picks up the chair and he stabs the leg with it a couple of times. And then he picks Punk up and he hits that swinging neck breaker, face breaker thing. Whatever the hell he calls that move. And then Axel grabs the chair and he puts it around Punk's leg all the way up to the knee. He's going to try to Pillmanize it. And Axel goes up to like the second rope and he jumps down. Punk moves out of the ring and Axel stomps on nothing, and Punk gets up and he smacks Axel with the chair. They wind up on the outside of the ring and Punk rams Axel into the ringside stairs a couple of times and then picks him up on his shoulders like he's going to give him the GTS, and he drops him face first down on the stairs. So it's like a stair assisted GTS. And that lays Axel out. He's done. Punk's left staring Heyman down, and Heyman's backing up the ramp because he's a chicken shit. They hype up Randy's coronation for later on, and they say that Bray Wyatt is going to have his first singles match here on Raw next. And they cut to commercial. They come back, and R-Truth comes out. And then Wyatt comes out, of course, flanked by Harper and Rowan. They start the match. And this match is shit. And it basically amounted to a squash. Wyatt beats the hell out of Truth. Sets him up for his stupid finishing move. He hits it and he pins him. And that's it. And then they do the stupid trying to be scary quick cut thing, and they cut to another damn commercial. And during this commercial break, they did a vignette for a pair of new superstars, apparently, who are supposed to be debuting. I hear this, ole, ole, and I'm thinking they're not gonna bring in El Generico yet. No. They start talking about all this bullfighting shit, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? Turns out it's this tag team called Los Matadores, or the Matadors. I found out that there's been a rumor going on. This is going to be Primo and Epico. They're giving them a new gimmick, and they're going to have them re-debut. This is fucking stupid. Way to get even more fucking stereotypical and racist. We've already got Coulter spewing his racist bullshit. And what's funny is, after that commercial, apparently Coulter tweeted something about it on Twitter. And so it's like, okay, great. So it looks like we're going to have us a feud between them and the Real Americans. Whoopty shit. Anyways, back to the actual show. We come back from the commercial. 3MB is in the ring. And then the Usos come out. We've got us another tag team match. Turns out it's Slater and Mahal versus the Usos. Another shitty match. The Usos won with their rip-off splash. Who gives a fuck? They hype up Randy's coronation again, and they cut to another goddamn commercial break. When they come back, they recap the Miz from last night at SummerSlam. He had had enough of Fandango's shit and finally attacked him. And I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to have a match between these two. Miz comes out, and then Wade Barrett comes out, and I'm like, okay, why? Anyways, Miz and Barrett start having a match, and it's going alright. Miz finally works on Barrett's leg a little bit in the corner, and he's able to get him down, and he locks in the figure 4 on him. And Barrett's about to tap out, and then all of a sudden the camera zooms out, and you can see Johnny up on the top rope. He comes jumping down, and he leg drops the fuck out of Miz. Ref calls for the bell, DQ. Miz obviously wins by DQ. Johnny just kind of dances with Summer, whatever. They cut backstage to Maddox with Stephanie, and they're talking, and Maddox basically says, I just talked to the head of security, and he said that Brian's back in the building. And Stephanie basically says, good. And then she goes into an office which has Mr. McMahon on the nameplate. They cut to commercial. When they come back from the commercial this time, Vince and Stephanie are in the ring. Triple H is already on his way out. And the entire frickin' roster is up on the stage. And the Shield guys are at the bottom of the aisleway right by the ring. Apparently they're like the head of security for this little bit. But Triple H gets in the ring and Vince starts talking. And they're talking about, we did this for you, we want you to appreciate this. Triple H starts talking and he's saying the same bullshit. I did this for you, I did this for your family, for your children, for their children. And I'm thinking, no, you did this to fuck with us. Whatever. Triple H finally gets around to introducing Randy. And Randy comes out. He comes out and he gets in the ring and he actually shakes hands with Vince and Triple H. And then gets a hug from Stephanie, despite a couple of years ago when Randy pretty much beat the hell out of all three of those people. Those of you who actually might remember back that far back. Whatever. Randy talks for a little bit. And he doesn't get all that much mic time, though. Because Triple H gets the mic back and he talks more and he says, you know what, Brian, we know you're in the building. We want you to come on out. And he's like, oh, the Shield guys must be scaring him off. So he has the Shield guys move away from the ramp. They hit Brian's music, and after a while, Brian finally comes out from over the side of the stage, out from under the thing, and he comes off and over there. He's coming towards the ring, and he gets up towards the ring, and then, of course, the Shield guys attack him. They beat the hell out of him. Brian fights back, and he's able to fight off Ambrose and Rollins. Rollins got the big roundhouse kick to the head, and Ambrose got hip-tossed up onto the ramp, which, of course, hurts like hell. Reigns had been strangely missing. Brian comes back down towards the ring, and there's Reigns, runs him over with a spear. And then the other two Shield guys, they get back up, and they're getting ready to give Brian the triple powerbomb on the floor, but Triple H stops him. He's like, no. Let him get in the ring. And he's like, come on. Just really, really patronizing and just really, really disgusting. Brian's fighting up. He's trying to get up to his feet. You know, the Shield guys have backed off. Brian fights up, and he finally drags himself into the ring, only to get RKO'd by Randy. And that's it. That's the end of the fucking show. It's just like I thought. Corporation reforms. It's Stephanie and Triple H and Vince and Randy as their champion. And the reason why none of the superstars from the roster bothered to help Bryan out at all is because Triple H said something, if you guys try to mess with this, there's going to be problems or something, or maybe he threatened that he'd fire them or whatever. At that point, I wouldn't even care. They've had this before where everybody frickin' walked out on Triple H. I'd do the same thing again. We aren't going to stand for you assholes thinking you can fuck with our destinies. You might be our boss. You might have control over our contracts. But this is horrible. You patronize this guy. You have the Shield guys beat the living shit out of him. And then you call the dogs off just to let Randy finish him off. I already hate this fucking storyline, and something tells me it's going to be going on for a long goddamn time. And it's going to be boring as fuck with Triple H there, because he's boring as fuck. Cena's gone for a while. That's probably the only good thing. I just knocked this sumbitch out real quick, didn't I? Yeah, it's only midnight now. It's only been a half an hour. Or thereabouts. So, yeah, that was Raw. It sucked. Bryan's going to be fighting to try and get the title back. They're going to build up to it for months, and something tells me it's going to go all the way to WrestleMania. But I don't know. I just really don't like this, because it's going to be a boring, typical bullshit heel thing where the heel has the title and he's hiding behind his fucking backup, his reinforcements, the Shield. The Shield's gimmick is fucking ruined. They're supposed to fight for justice, fighting against injustice. They're fighting for the biggest injustice in the fucking company. Their gimmick is ruined. Hopefully, that will come up in the damn storyline. Hopefully, Bryan will turn them against the McMahons and Triple H and Randy. Ambrose and Rollins are fellow indie guys. They both wrestled Bryan on the indies. I can't believe they would even go with this. Oh well. Don't care. That was Raw. I don't know how much more of this shit I can stomach. Thank you for watching. See you later.